Ian O'Neill for Severe MMA, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Nathan Fletcher, just a couple of days out now from his Cage Warriors 127 fight with Dom Wooding for the vacant bantamweight title. Nate, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you feeling? You're just a couple of days away from the fight now, the excitement, and you must be eager to get in there and perform for everybody.
Yeah, I really am. I'm very excited for this one, especially obviously with it being my title fight. So the build-up's been great. There's been a lot more media and sort of exposure on this fight, but I really enjoy that, to be honest. I like getting on and doing these interviews. It's all good exposure for me, good exposure for the fight. It hypes it up more. And at the end of the day, it's good practice as well, helping me learn to promote myself better. So I enjoy it. I embrace it all, and I'm very excited, and I'm ready to get in there now next week.
Awesome. And training has been going well for you, obviously enough. And has there been much like adjustments with the extra media that you've had to do or anything like that? Have you had to change much around?
Not at all. In terms of training, I've obviously that takes priority. So I'm getting all my sessions done, and then just fitting in the interviews where I can. To be honest, a lot of them are like this on Zoom. So I've done a couple of in-person podcasts. I went on my teammate's podcast, Paddy, the other week, so that'll be coming out. I'll be coming out fight week. But yeah, it's just fitting it in where I can, to be honest. So it's not had to mess up my training schedule or anything like that.
Nice. And looking ahead a little bit towards the fight, how do you feel that you match up against somebody like Dominic?
Yeah, very well. I think personally, I match up very well against anybody in the world, and especially anybody on the Cage Warriors roster. So coming into this one, I'm not too fazed by Dominic, to be honest. I think he's a good opponent, don't get me wrong. He's a good striker, and he's definitely got knockout power and stuff like that. But a lot of the people I've faced have got knockout power. So it's nothing that I haven't seen before. And I'm very confident in my own skill set, to be honest. So I see myself finishing him and getting the belt next week, and I can't wait for that.
Do you see this as like a kind of a classic striker versus grappler kind of a matchup, or are you looking to try and mix it up with him on the feet as well and show kind of that side of your game too?
I'm definitely looking to mix it up. I think people are going to be surprised by my striking in this fight. But yeah, I can see why everyone thinks that. Obviously, I finish all my fights on the ground, and the fights that he's won, he's finished on the feet. So I can see how people would think it's a striker versus grappler matchup. But at the end of the day, it's MMA. Do you know what I mean? So I'm coming in there to fight him. I'm not looking to just take him down and grapple him. There's definitely going to be heavy shots thrown on my side as well. So I'm just excited to get in there and fight him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the bulk of your training, obviously you like to train all like grappling and striking, everything like that. Seeing is as Dominic is kind of more striker heavy. Have you been concentrating a little bit more on your striking then, or have you kept everything similar? Is every camp the same? Or have you approached this a little bit differently because it's maybe a 5-round fight for a title and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that's the only real difference. A lot of my sparring in the cage has been 5 rounds because obviously I'm getting ready for a 25-minute fight. Other than that, I keep things pretty much the same camp to camp. Obviously, I'm always looking to improve and build on my training program and stuff like that. But I've not got too far away from what got me to the dance. At the end of the day, I'm 6-0, undefeated. I've finished everybody that I've fought. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So everything I'm doing so far in my career is working up until now. So I've kept it the same. In terms of sparring and stuff like that, like I said, I've been doing 5 rounds instead of 3 in the cage. And I've been choosing my sparring partners a bit more wisely, and that I'm sparring the better strikers in the gym and, the southpaws and people who play wooden better than others. So I've tailored my training in that sense, but I'm still just doing what I've been doing for the last 2-3 years, to be honest, since I've been pro.
Anyone in particular that you have been working with and has been helping you out for this camp?
Yeah, my main training partner for the camp's been Liam Malloy, who's one of my teammates. He's a featherweight, and he's making his Cage Warriors debut on Thursday night as well. So I'm made up that he's got a fight now. So Liam literally fought, I think, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he got right back into camp Monday morning after his fight. He was in helping me out, preparing for this fight because his style is very similar to my opponent's. And it so happened that he ended up staying fit and staying ready, and now the opportunity's come for him to make his Cage Warriors debut. So I made up for him getting that fight, and it's going to be a great end to the camp for me and him both getting the win on Thursday night. So that's brilliant.
Perfect. That's great. I mean, you've been a guy who's been with Cage Warriors almost since the very start of your career. I think you joined there as for your second or third fight as an amateur. How important do you think that is of a promotion that is for you? Is that somewhere you always wanted to be? And obviously, looking a little bit ahead, your aspirations are to join the UFC eventually. Do you feel that Cage Warriors is the best place for you to achieve that goal?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think if you're a European fighter wanting to make it to the big leagues, Cage Warriors is the best promotion to do that. And they've proven that time and time again. I think they've sent like 102, 103, something like that, fighters to the UFC. My teammates included in that. Do you know what I mean? So it's the proven platform for European fighters to go on if they want to progress onto the UFC. And it's been massive for me having my whole career on Cage Warriors. I was getting exposure to that platform from literally, when he said, my third amateur fight, I fought in the Echo Arena on one of Paddy's undercards. So I'm used to how Cage Warriors run it. I'm used to the big show. I'm used to fighting on those sort of events. And so my career has been built up nicely to get me to this spot I'm in now, where I'm still young. I'm still 23. I'm only 6 pro fights in, but I feel so much maturer than that in my in the experience I've gained from fighting on Cage Warriors for so long. So I feel like I'm a Cage Warriors veteran, even though I'm still so young in my career. And yeah, it's the perfect platform for me. It's exactly where I want to be right now.
Nice. I mean, like, not people won't realize that, I guess, because you have been around for such a long time, is that you are only 23 years old. You're very young in your professional career. And I mean, looking back, I guess, at your amateur career, there was one loss there and one thing in particular, I looked at your road to the UFC kind of video blog before your last fight against Brian Bouland, and you said in particular that one loss in your amateur career made your mind up to kind of change things up, where you made the move over to peak performance, strength and conditioning. Is that where you still are at right now? And I think that move really made a change in your career overall, and you've been undefeated since.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Peak performance have played a big part in all my fight camps since that loss, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I always took training serious. Even when I was an amateur and before that loss, I was always a hard worker. But there was something missing, and it was definitely in the strength and conditioning aspect of my fight camps. I just wasn't as clued up as I needed to be. I didn't know what had to go into strength and conditioning aspects of fighting. So I didn't prioritize it. And then after that fight, because realistically in that fight, I was dominating in terms of skill set. I was 4 rounds up. And it's just that I ended up getting tired in the 5th round. That's why I got submitted. So I got into peak. I fixed that. And then, like you said, ever since I've been undefeated. And I think the main thing, not only the physical attributes I get from training there, but the mental side of it is just phenomenal. I know where my fitness levels are at now. It's scary how fit I am, to be honest. I don't think there's any bantamweight in the world that can compete with me in terms of physical attributes and fitness. And that's all down to my coaches at Peak and my training partners there. So every fight camp as well, I'm building on it. My numbers are going through the roof now in terms of strength and my endurance and everything like that. So Peak play a massive part in my career, and I'm very thankful that I found that gym. I'm very lucky, to be honest. It's like one of my best mates, Alex. He just happens to be one of the fittest kids I know, because he's like a full-time CrossFitter there. So I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by those types of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I mean, yeah, it's good to be able to do it with your mate as well, coming up along the way. And just like you mentioned before, like there's recent success of some of the other gym mates and your teammates. Paddy Pimblett example, Molly McCann is another example. They've both had some recent successes. That kind of given you a little bit boost of confidence seeing the success of those, and has it helped you kind of along your career as well? Because you mentioned, you were on Paddy's undercards before, you fought on a couple of big shows. How important do you think that their influence will have on your career and your progression towards the sport, and even when you get into the UFC?
Yeah, it's massive, 100%. Like, first of all, looking up to them and seeing them doing boss things is obviously motivating, because they're your teammates. They're the people you're in the gym with every day. And now seeing them be successful on the biggest stage, that's exactly what I'm aspiring to do. So I'm seeing my teammates do that. That just confirms in my mind, like that's going to happen for me as well. I'm doing the same stuff as them. I'm in the gym with them every day, and they're now achieving those dreams. So that's so motivating for me to see that. And then also you look at the platform that Paddy's got now, he's absolutely blown up. So again, that's crazy. Just putting more eyes on me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm Paddy's teammate coming through, all the eyes that are on him, so all the support he's got, that's going to trickle down to me as well. So in that sense, it's a massive benefit. The energy in the gym at the minute is just unreal. Like, ever since the last Cage Warriors, where Matt Bonner won his world title at middleweight, the gym's been on a high. And then obviously that was carried on through the UFC Vegas, where that was pretty much a next gen takeover with Paddy and Molly both getting the the 50G bonuses and stuff like that. So it's a really good time for next gen at the minute. And yeah, like I said, the gym's just flying, and it's definitely impacted me in training for now my world title fight. It's come at a perfect time, really. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, things couldn't be much better at the minute, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, and you have the chance, I guess, to continue on that success this Saturday night at Cage Warriors 127. If we're going to talk about that fight for a little bit again, I mean, you said that you're pretty confident that you're going to get the finish. How do you see the fight playing out once the first bell starts?
Yeah, I mean, so realistically, I'm going to be looking to take him down. Do you know what I mean? That's what I do in every fight. I go out there, back people up, put a pace on them, get those takedowns, and then they either give me the back or I find a pass to the back and get a rear naked choke. That's how I win most of my fights. And I see this one going in a similar fashion, to be honest. Listen, Dom's good, and he's obviously he said in a face-off with me that he's had experience fighting, my style grapplers and stuff like that, but they're just not the same as me. The way I do it, the pressure I put on people, the pace I can hold, and the technique I've got. To be honest, I do things pretty smooth when I get in there. My path from floor to the cage to taking them down to getting to the back's pretty seamless. So I just don't think he's faced anyone as smooth as me, as good as me, who brings as much pressure as me. And I see this fight going very similar to my last 6, to be honest.
Nice. And if you are to be successful, Nathan, do you think that you have a couple of more fights maybe left in Cage Warriors, or what would you be thinking the next step is going to be for you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely not looking past this fight. That's all my focus is on at the minute. But realistically, I see myself defending the belt maybe once or twice before I go to the UFC. I'm still very young. I'm still 23. Don't get me wrong. If the UFC came calling, I'd sit down with my coaches and see what they thought, and I'd be eager to take that opportunity. But I also think it would be very good experience for me to win the belt and bring it back home to Liverpool or Manchester or somewhere near to where I'm from and sell it out and headline an event there. I think that would be a great experience going into the UFC, having a show built around me. So yeah, I'd also really think that that'd be good as well. So whatever happens, if it's UFC, if it's defend the belt, I'm ready for whatever comes after this fight.
Nice. Is there anybody else maybe in the 135-pound division in Cage Warriors you might have your eye on right now?
Right now, all my focus is on Wooding. There's been a few interesting signings recently. The bantamweight division's pretty stacked at the minute. I've already dealt with a lot of the good prospects, to be honest, like Brian Boolan, and Martin Yoni was another prospect who I took out in my 5th fight. Obviously, my teammate then, Liam Gittins, but he's going down to flyweight now. I have a crack at the flyweight strap there soon. So we'll see. We'll see who gets a win on the trilogy. I mean, what sort of prospects are coming through. Cage Warriors are always signing new talent, so they could sign somebody from Europe somewhere after this fight that I'll end up fighting. So we'll see, but I've not got my eye specifically on anybody other than Dominic Wooding, obviously.
For sure. Well, thanks very much for taking the time, Nathan. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time for so close to your fight and everything like that. And before I let you go, I mean, do you have any shout outs, any sponsors, anyone that you want to give a shout out to? The floor is yours, my friend.
Go on, I'll try not to mess this up because I've had so many new sponsors come on board this camp. So I'm very grateful for them all, but my memory's not the best sometimes. So just a quick list of my sponsors. I've got Jack Harper, Finer Filters, Macro Chef, Strop and Bristle, Ivy Irk Work Dogs, Lucky Bar number 13, the Hippie Designs, and there's definitely one more, and I'm fuming, I can't remember them. We'll leave it at that for now. So thank you to them 7. And if I've missed you out, I'm very sorry. I'll have to think back. But like I said, I've had a lot of new sponsors come on board this fight, with it being the title fight. And I've been very fortunate to be in the spot I'm in. So thank you very much to all them supporting me. It goes a long way. And I'm very sorry if I forgot to say your company there. But I think I got the majority of them anyway. So shout out to all them.
Cage Warriors 127 this Thursday on UFC Fight Pass. If anyone is looking to tune in, Nathan, what can they expect to see on Thursday night when you go in there against Dominic Wooding?
You can expect to see a heavy pace, a finish probably early on, to be honest, first or second round, and me walking away with the Cage Warriors gold wrapped around my waist. And I cannot wait for that moment.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Nathan. I appreciate the time. Anyone who's listening, if you enjoyed listening, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow Severe MMA on Twitter and all social media handles. You can follow Nathan Fletcher. What's your social media handles, Nathan?
So I'm Nathan Fletcher _ on Instagram and Twitter. So follow them. It's both the same name. Easy enough.
One of the best prospects coming out of Europe in the bantamweight division right now, guys. You're not going to want to miss this fight on Thursday night. Wish you all the best in it, Nathan. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, and we'll speak to you again sometime down the line.
Is right, mate. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for having us on.